We're going to be live in like maybe 12 seconds. I'll give you a thumbs up.
Okay.
Live.
I think it'll show on the screen. I think everyone.
Yeah, we're live.
I don't think we can eat.
Go ahead. We are live.
And we're live. I feel like I should do a little dance, a little intro chick. But I dance like Elaine. It is weird without any music. So I'm just good evening, or good night, or good afternoon, or good morning, or happy Tuesday if you're tuning in from Thailand. Welcome to tonight's show with the Reseller Fam. My name is Joe. My number is 866-717-7620. Again, that's 866-717-7620. If you would like to join us tonight, please go to zoom.us and type in the meeting number 866-717-7620, and then you can be a part of all of this. While we're waiting for everyone to tune in, I just want to say that we are going to have a fantastic show tonight. The lineup is incredible. While we're waiting for everyone, so much fun. I even brushed my teeth for this. And you are going to wake up tomorrow still thinking about the call from tonight, maybe even still giggling. And while we'll just go ahead and get started.
Yep.
As promised, most of us are wearing something that we've thrifted. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to list it when the show is over, and we're going to keep you all posted about how long it takes to sell and what it sells for. I'll go first. I am wearing an army shirt that I decided to keep. And if you didn't know what this is, it's a stethoscope, because I love selling medical equipment. But either this is broken or I'm actually dead. And some parents are about to come in and interrupt this YouTube show and take me away to go live with dead Helen. And I have to find something else.
Why don't we start with Noelle? Noelle, what are you wearing?
I have on a Barbie Forever 21 collaboration that I didn't even know happened from, I think 2014 is when they did it.
Okay.
So I looked up comps. There's 3 currently listed. 3 have sold between 20 and 48. So I'll probably list it starting around 40 and see how it does. Okay. Did you find something, Helene?
I did. I found a Joe Rocket black leather motorcycle racing jacket.
Nice.
That has the zip out, zip in lining.
Your size too.
My size.
It fits perfect.
I feel like a badass for the next hour.
Yep.
I didn't even look up comps when I bought this because I've sold Joe Rocket a lot. So I knew it would sell. It would sell for a pretty good amount of money. I paid $17 for it. But it has, I noticed when I put it on, it has a yellow barb on it. It might have been half off. But if not, it was 17. We'll go 17. Comps are 45 active listings, 43 sold listings. Average sale price is between $70 and $125. I'll probably list it for $100 in the middle and give myself room for like a 15 to 20% off sale with, I've been doing 3 to 5% promoted listings.
Awesome. So
it should sell pretty good. And it's like it's a really nice leather Joe Rocket. Some of them don't have as good of leather. This has really good leather, and there's no signs of an accident. There's like no blood, no like skin peeling. So it's like in really good condition. The zippers work, the lining zips in and zips out. I'm pretty happy with it.
Okay. Who's next?
I'm gonna go with Foxy Revival, our friend Loretta.
Hi. So I didn't get the memo. So this is actually something that I have listed, but I had separated. I didn't have it together. So I'm actually going to redo the listing And my friends were telling me this week to use the word avant-garde for really stylish 80s stuff, because that seems to sell it really well. So that's something I learned new this week about, like, kind of, you know, more like fashionable but true 80s. So avant-garde is a good word to use. Anyways, yeah, so I paid like $10 for this. I'll stand up to show you. It's 100% suede with, it's got like metal geometric triangle design. Let me get back here. And I have a skirt that matches.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, and I have on my Thrifted Gucci watch that I haven't listed yet. I'm gonna list it now, and those are the rings, you know, the boxes of rings.
Watch?
Oh, that's awesome.
See, it's got all the rings. So I got to put it up on eBay. There's not many listed. So it's going to go for around $350, $400. So yeah. But I have to get the battery changed. I took it to get it changed, and no one will change a Gucci battery. I got to send it in somewhere special to get it done. You can't just take it to a watch place. So
yeah, you don't want to do that though. I mean, you don't want to just you want to take it to the Gucci place. I
don't want to take it to, you know, Joe's Repair and have it screwed up.
Don't break it, for show. Let's do a boy now. Gary.
Oh, hey, I'm wearing a Calvin Klein vintage sweatshirt. It still has the barb on it. So I think it was $250, and I'm going to put it up for around 46. And I'm kind of doing what Endless Entrepreneurs does. And I put it in my closet. So I have it listed on the listing. It says closet. So if it sells, it sells. If not, then I'm going to wear it all winter. So.
Nice.
I love things we can keep if they don't sell. Nicole State from State's Place.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I didn't know what I was doing when I entered the chat.
Sorry, I know we
So I saw Chris's thing and I was like, oh, I'll go like watch them while they're like on. But then I was here, so cool. I get to hang out. I'm at my office and I'm wearing this like super holy sweatshirt. It's pretty cool. I went downstairs. My office is above my friend Tony's shop, and I went downstairs and she had this down there, and I was like, it's cold, I'm gonna wear this. So I kind of thrifted it. I kind of just
it's the best thrift. It's free.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm not selling on eBay because somebody will leave me negative feedback even if it's meant to be like this.
Even though it's on trend. Of course. All right, Ken. Go ahead and brag. What have you thrifted that you're gonna sell?
Okay, so maybe you guys know I'm just the retail arbitrage guy, but my secret to my business is actually thrifting. I'm joking. It's not really thrifting, but I've tried a few, and this is one of them. It's Florence Tricot. I don't know, that's the brand, but I thought it was like a Kuji-ish, and I bought it for like $6. And it's been sitting on my living room for like 2 weeks now because I don't have any passion for clothing. So I have that, and then and I got this gold chain.
Nice.
So I probably I don't know how to list this, but we'll see. I'm really slow at listing clothing.
We can help you with that.
Yes.
MM. Sorry, I don't know your real name. What do you have something thrifted that you want to share with us?
Yeah, thank you first of all for allowing me this opportunity. I'm new to eBay, as you guys can see on my Instagram. It's from retail to resale, and I started out really frustrated because I had no motivation because I was frustrated. I didn't know what I was doing. So now I'm doing very well. I went from just having an eBay account to an eBay store now, a basic store. So whenever I have questions or I'm unsure about a lot of things, I just call eBay. I know the Reseller Fam has helped me on eBay, which I appreciate. So I found these at the bins the other day. I'm in Michigan, by the way, and we don't have a lot of bins, but I finally did find two. I found this pair of Pedro Garcia. Can you guys see this?
Uh-huh.
And it looks new to me, and it's in beautiful shape, actually. And I didn't know who Pedro Garcia is. I just found it for $3, so I had to snatch it out of the lady's hand because she was grabbing 3 cartfuls of shoes, and I felt she was being greedy, so I wanted to be greedy too. So I grabbed this one before she did, and I'm only human. I don't care. So anyway, I come home to list it, and I look at the comps, and they were in the hundreds.
Awesome.
Nice.
And of course, I thought I was gonna be a millionaire because I went from $3 to a few $100s. So I listed it at 200 and something because I didn't know any better. I figured I'm gonna get lowballed anyway, which is fine because either no one's gonna offer anything or somebody's gonna lowball me. So that's why I listed at 200 and something. So I don't know.
Or someone could pay 200 and something.
Right, that's true too. So that's my story.
That's great.
And I'm gonna stick with it.
Good job with that find.
Thank you.
So is that everybody that's, I don't know if I'm seeing everybody. Yeah, that's 8 people. Okay, don't be sad, it's not over yet. The next topic that we're gonna talk about is the topic that you've all been waiting for. It's the topic that you're still going to be thinking about in the morning when you go to make your coffee or your Bloody Mary. It's our mistakes. We're gonna open up the vault to our embarrassing, we usually don't admit to it, mistakes, and share them with you so that you can learn from what we've learned. It's good to learn from your mistakes, but it's even better when you get to learn from everybody else's mistakes. Because we all make mistakes. Mistakes are okay. Even super, super successful people have made mistakes. The trick is to not make the same mistake twice, which I've also done. Hopefully, I'll just leave it at that and not go for third time's the charm. But I know Noelle, my sister, we've been doing this for a really long time, and she's pretty good at making mistakes too.
Thanks, girl.
I got you back. But one thing is for sure, through all the years and all the bajillion mistakes we've made, we have not given up. We should have at some point, but we didn't. We're still here, and we're still going strong. And I really believe that if you don't give up and you don't quit, eventually, once you have your empire, you can look back and realize that all these mistakes, embarrassing or not, were just stepping stones that led you to the empire that you're about to run. So just learn from your mistakes. Sometimes my mistakes are really bad and I just want to crawl in a hole and never come out. But I realize that mistakes are growing and stretching, and they make us stronger and better. If we don't learn from our mistakes, you'll just end up living in a van down by the river. So it's okay to make mistakes. Steve Harvey says you got to jump, and eventually your parachute will go off, hopefully before you hit the ground. So now we're going to do paper, rock, scissors, whoever gets to go first on their mistakes.
No, call on people.
No, we're going to do paper, rock, scissors, because nobody likes to go first.
I'll go first because you skipped me and I didn't get to talk about what I wore.
Well, yeah, what you were wearing.
Well, I kind of cheated because, first of all, I thought I got it at a garage sale. And so I'm wearing a 1993 Tom and Jerry tee.
Nice.
Cool. They're actually selling for, I use Worth Point. There are some that sold for around $100, but there are none on eBay like it. I'd say it's worth probably 50 to 100. I also cheated. I have it listed for 149. I'm just waiting for somebody to make an offer. It's cool. It's one of those things that I put an X in the item location because the stuff that has an X I wear. So, if it sells, I know where it is in my closet. Super excited for that. I would say my biggest reseller mistake when I first started was not realizing that just because it's a good brand doesn't mean it sells fast. There's like different kinds of, like, as an example, Brooks Brothers is very common. It's a relative, like a medium high-end brand. Actually, it's a medium brand, but there are some Brooks Brothers that sell for hundreds of dollars and some that you can't sell for 10 shipped. So it just depends. You can't just pick up something just because of the label. So I would definitely recommend people try to find something as close as possible. And I just want to bring up like Plato's Closet. I went to talk to them and I'm like, how can you train somebody with no experience to pick something that will sell in the store? And they have a pretty basic rule, which is the person working tries to find it online. If they can't find it online, then it's not current enough. So if they can find it online, we try to buy it for 10% of retail and sell it for 30% of retail. And that's worked for us. And it allows us to train somebody who just started to do it. And so I thought that's amazing. So if you've just started, if you can't find it online, you may need a little bit more experience before you just guess what the item is worth. If you've been doing it for a while, maybe, but definitely you want to use knowledge and past sales history to determine what you buy. Don't just buy brands, because you'll get stuck with a good brand, a bad item in a good brand sometimes.
That's true. And sometimes there's a bad brand, but a good item. Like there's some brands that don't sell really well, but if you get like the good dress of that brand or a good sweater, then you can still do well with it. It's just a part of learning from searching comps, like every time you thrift. And eventually it won't take so long. I was going to do paper, rock, scissors, but make Noelle win regardless.
Oh, gosh. Aren't you sweet? That sounds about right. Does that mean I'm up?
Everybody gets to see the behind the Lister Sisters scene. So we're a little competitive.
I would have used scissors so I could cut you again.
Yeah, you're up, girl.
Okay, so I had not a major problem. I don't want to say that. But for a little bit, I had an issue with people contacting me about smells. Which I don't like to admit, but like the first time it happened, I thought, oh, they're just trying to pull a scam on me. They just want me to give them like a $5 refund and pretend that they're going to go get it dry cleaned and really just keep the money or whatever. But then I got like 3 in a row. So I realized that if you're flying through listings or just trying to keep up a good pace and just keep going really fast, and you have certain goals you want to reach, that maybe you aren't stopping to smell the clothing as you're going. So yeah, I learned, because I always kind of felt like I had a good sense of smell and that if there was an odor, it would just be very apparent. But sometimes you really do have to just give the clothing items a good sniff before you send them out. You can wash them, you can stick them outside. Like the smoke odor, I think, is the hardest to get rid of, and that's mostly what people were complaining about. And you don't know where your items are coming from. It could be coming from a smoker's house or whatever. So
or a lot of times a small house fire. Yeah, could be a number of things. Yeah,
a cat lady.
Yeah, but with that smoke issue from my small house fire, you're the one that told, like, I put a bag of charcoal in the basement room with all the clothes, and after a few days, the smoke smell did come out.
Yeah, it absorbs odors. You can put baking soda in shoes that stink. You can spray them with like a mix of vinegar water, put them out in the sun. Lots of stuff you can do to get rid of smells, but smell your clothes, y'all.
Can I say something?
Yes.
About the smoke, because I sometimes buy vintage. I bought like a vintage curling sweater that I couldn't wash, and it smelled a little bit like smoke. So I put it in the freezer in a bag for 24 hours, and that will get rid of the smell. So for things that you just are too like they're so vintage, I didn't want to wash it and have it come apart, and had like patches glued on. I want the patches to come off, and I couldn't dry clean it. But the freezer for 24 hours will get rid of a lot of odors.
That's awesome. I don't think I've done that one. What other mistake have you made, Loretta, that we could all learn from?
I brought my mistake. I got this item I've had on online for 2 years. And when I first started buying vintage, I was like, oh, that's cute. It's going to sell. I know it's going to sell. And that was my problem. I kept buying like cute crap that wouldn't sell. And I didn't really look up soles. I was just like, oh, it's just going to sell, right? So I've had this hunk of junk listed. See, it's called a tureen, so it's like a casserole dish, but it's like really cool. It's like 3D fruit. I thought, oh, for sure someone's gonna want this. No, I've had it listed now for like 2 years, but when I did look up soles, there were soles on it, but they were very sparse, right? There's 2 soles, and it hasn't sold since. So yeah, I'm gonna have to blow it out, I think, or break. My husband's got a BB gun. He's like, maybe I can shoot it. So. Yeah, but that would be my advice if you're selling vintage, because lots of things are vintage. You can walk in any thrift store and 90% of what's on the shelf is going to be junk. Like it's going to be not sellable. No one's going to buy that vintage. and it has to be, demand for it somewhere. So like, for instance, brass is on trend. You could go buy all the brass on that shelf, but only certain things are going to sell right now. So knowing what's on trend and knowing there's a buyer for it. And so that's my advice, is look everything up and know what the trends are.
Good advice. Ken.
Yes.
Care to share a mistake with us from your vault?
I only make one mistake a day, and so it's kind of rare. I'm just joking, guys.
Go to bed after you make that mistake?
Well, really the biggest mistake that I did, in the 7 months of selling, was not really going all in the first 2 or 3 months. I was kind of very hesitant. And here's the thing, and I need to rephrase it. I needed to go all in because I spent too much watching YouTube, following people. I spent too much consuming content, and I felt like I wasn't confident enough. And I could relate a lot because I get a lot of DMs from people, how did you start, what can I do, and everything like that. And really all it really needed was just maybe 2 or 3 videos and a lot of execution. And what I did was I waited for like 2 or 3 months. Like my Instagram was just like dead for 2 or 3 months because I was just stalking people, and I really didn't execute much. And then I followed a lot of thrifting, and then this is one thing that I think I regret now. I think I went into the RA hole automatically because that was easy, and then I kind of evaded the thrifting and the clothing, and that's why for me now it's so hard for me to list clothing because I didn't do it. I didn't at least try it when I started. So that could have helped me diversify a lot of my my items in my store. That's why I'm so heavy on Nike items. Like 80% are just Nike brand because I've kind of just settled in and just said, okay, I'll just do Nike. But I could have, got a few more of this sweater, learned the clothing industry before I turned it down. So that was my biggest mistake. And now seriously, I'm kind of like regretting it because now I know how the concept of eBay runs. And then I'm like, I don't know clothing. So I feel like it's a missed opportunity. It's a really big missed opportunity for me because I didn't do that, and garage selling. So those were my 2 biggest mistakes. I immediately canceled it off and passed on thrifting and garage selling because I thought it was a lot more work, but it was just me being lazy trying to learn it, and I just went to what I knew. But yeah, I think that's a pretty big mistake.
But it's never too late.
Yes, but it's gonna be, it's so hard now. Like for me, I think it's mentally hard now, because I know there's gonna be a learning curve again. But if I did it, and because I feel like I had so much time when I started. With the first 3 months, I was only like selling, I only did 2,800 in the first two months, something like that. And like I had so much vacant time. And then starting up too, I didn't have much money. So my excuse was I cannot source anymore, so I can't sell anymore. But if I use thrifting and garage selling, I could have probably gotten a lot more capitalization and flow with my eBay store. But yeah, that's my biggest mistake. I could have made a Hustle Bee crates by now already.
Well, thanks for making yourself vulnerable. Which, speaking of crates, let's go to Nicole.
Are you mocking me? I'm still gonna beat you. I am still beating you. You don't even know. Don't even know. Coming for you.
What's the deadline on that?
Never.
There's no deadline. It's just the first to 30K.
Oh, okay.
Look, I got some secret weapons in my pocket that the world doesn't know about yet, but I'm definitely beating you within a couple months. So you better hurry up if you want to win.
I love watching this.
No, I'm just kidding. I really do love you guys. Thanks for having me. I make mistakes every single day of my life, and I actually love them. I love my mistakes. I love learning from my mistakes. And I think that, I don't know what some of my mistakes are. I've literally made every single mistake that you can probably make, and I've done it more than once. So I think that, like, starting out, my biggest mistake or my biggest setback was not having a good inventory system. And that was like one huge thing that I had to overcome. I used to just put all my clothes in like bins by like, all the shirts are here, all the pants are here. And then I would lose things, it would get off track. And I didn't switch over to an actual inventory system until I had probably like 400 or 500 items in my store. And it took forever to switch over. So I think that making sure that you have an inventory system from the very beginning is like the best tip and the best like thing that I learned.
That's a good one. That was one of mine too. And lights. Lighting, which I'm still learning. Dave, welcome. Welcome, David.
Hello.
Would you like to share some learned mistakes with us?
I would love to. Yeah, I kind of guess when piggybacking off Nicole's, the inventory system for us was huge. We, for the longest time, just again, same thing, had everything in boxes and not even a box A or B, just different boxes, and we'd have to sort through it all. And on a good sales day, it would be turned into a nightmare the next day, having to look for everything. And definitely what we're doing now is sorting it all, numbering everything, pre-weighing everything, so our shipping becomes easier, which is then again, another mistake that we have made a lot is we would just feel something and be like, this is under a pound, and then it would just break that threshold and end up losing more money on it. So this is really helping because we're able now to make all those adjustments of, if we find out something cost more or weighed more, we can adjust the shipping prices. So it's really, this is, I guess, super beneficial for all coming together, and not having that in place has lost us money, caused us hours of extra work, and it's really been a lifesaver getting it together. So doing that much earlier would have been very helpful.
You got a warehouse, didn't you? Or a storage?
We did, yes. Yeah, we have some of our inventory moved in there now. We just finished up moving all of our old storage unit stuff into that one. But we are very excited to have it all out so we can have our apartment back.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's one of those things that take a lot of time, and it gets frustrated. You get frustrated because it's taking away your listing time, but in the end, it'll make things better for the big picture.
Exactly. And I'm still pushing, trying to get listing through, and Megan's been very helpful at powering through as many boxes as she can every day, either at night or when Damien's napping or things like that. So it's going to alleviate a lot of stress and peace of mind to keep it going.
That's going to be great. I'm sorry I don't know your real name, and I know that you're new to the eBay game, but have you learned something already that you'd like to share with us?
I mean, listening to what everyone is talking about, I feel like you guys are in my house because I'm experiencing everything you guys are talking about, which is great because I'm not alone, and it helps to hear that. So I don't want to be so hard on myself. So yeah, I need to set up an inventory system. I purchased more items than I can list. So those are my two problems.
Yeah,
because everything looks so cute, and I think everything is sellable, but not as quick as I want it to be. That's my problem, is getting over that. I want everything purchased yesterday, and so I have a lot to learn still. What I'm having a hard time with is how to describe things. If I don't find similar comps, the vocabulary, the terminology for me is not there yet. So I need to learn that still. So
that'll come, and your sales will come too. The more that you have listed in your store, it's like money in the bank kind of, and right. The sales will start becoming more and more frequent. I have had a similar mistake. I have so many mistakes, and like big ones, but one that I came to mind when Dave was talking was, I had listed a lot of, I don't know, how many was it, Noelle? 30 or 40 cloth diapers with liners.
Yeah.
And I was just honestly too lazy to package them up and weigh them before I listed them. And I ended up selling them in like, I think overnight. I was like, wow, it's amazing. I'm so good at this. And I paid an extra $45 shipping. Like, that's why they sold so fast.
That's crazy.
Look here, I brought another guest on.
Hi. Hey, everyone.
Aww.
I'm so excited.
This is Shane. She works for me. She's hanging out, working late tonight. So I told her to come hang out with us. She's part of the reseller Fam.
Welcome.
Yay.
What have you learned working for Nicole?
Well, I have, let's see. I never want to go home. I'm having fun.
She's in charge of the crate. So she's basically, as we grow, she'll be managing and doing all the crates.
That's awesome. You're making us jealous.
Yeah, very cool.
It's a lot of fun. Like time flies by, which is the kind of job
I'm sitting right next
to her.
Yeah, it's true. I'm here on a Sunday.
Gosh, is it Sunday?
Yeah, that says a lot. Yeah, that's awesome.
Another mistake. I really have so many, and a lot of them are really kind of fun or entertaining for other people anyway. But one of mine and Noelle's favorite ones of mine is not. I'm not throwing another seller under the bus, but it's really funny. My lesson is the reseller world is a small world, and buyers are also sellers.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a pair of snow pants. I won't even say the brand because my luck, she's like on the chat or something. I bought a pair of snow pants for my kid, and the description was like new, no flaws, whatever. I bought them and they came in giant Sharpie letters, like not even on the inside of the waistband, on the outside of the waistband was this long name in Sharpie. And I was like,
buy it for me?
Like, no. I promise. And I actually looked for this in the archives, but it's been deleted. And at first I was like, man, they're just snow pants. You know, my 10-year-old or 8-year-old at the time isn't going to care when he's sledding down my driveway. But I was like, you know what? If I was the seller and I did something like that, I would get a return. I would get a negative. I'd probably get suspended from eBay or something like that. That's just kind of luck I have. So like, you know what? I'm not going to return them because he's not going to care. And I'm not going to leave a negative because it's not that serious. It's not the end of the world. But I am going to email the seller and be like, look, I said, look, I'm a seller too. I understand things happen. Just wanted to let you know and be aware that these pants came with a giant name written in Sharpie on the outside of the waistband. So, you know, just in the future, kind of, you know, you might want to double check that. And she emailed me back basically calling me a liar. And she was like, you probably just did that trying to get money back or whatever. And I'm like, look, it's not even my name. It's not my kid's name. It's not our last name. It's not even close to our last name. I wouldn't do that for a pair of snow pants. Like I don't have that much time on my hands. I took a picture of it, sent it to her. And I even zoomed in on the picture in the listing, which if I would have been more on top of things, like would have noticed in the picture in the listing, like you really had to zoom in. And she was like, okay, fine. What do you want? I'm like, nothing. I just wanted to pass it along. I'm not going to leave you a negative. I don't want to return. I'm just trying to be a friendly seller to seller, whatever. So Noelle, I told Noelle all about it, of course. And later that night, she's like, girl, you're never going to believe this. She had been on a Facebook group and the girl had done this big old long vent about me on the Facebook group.
Even though you're the nicest buyer ever, like not even asking for anything.
Not happy with me. And I'm not going to read the chat because I'm sure she's watching.
I see her. She just popped up.
But it was awful. So I just giggled. And then did I comment on that post?
No, I think you messaged her back saying you saw the post.
I didn't even message her on that public post. I just sent her another email back and was like, girl, you might want to be careful in the future going forward. Again, like buyers can be sellers.
This is why, like, whenever I see people ranting on Instagram or
yeah,
Facebook, I'm like, what are you doing?
I know. It's like, it makes me anxious inside because it's not you know, like, oh God, don't do that. Don't do that.
If I saw Target just like ranting about their like customers, like, man, my customers are horrible. Like, that is bad press.
Very bad press. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I still shove my kid into those snow pants and laugh every time. But so I sent her that email and I was like, just want to let you know some buyers can be sellers. Like I had some entertainment tonight reading your post about me tonight on XYZ Facebook group that you wrote about me on, and she deleted the post and she never emailed me back. She probably blocked me.
Yeah, being nice to your customer. Like I had a meeting with this guy and he's like taking multiple companies public and he's, I don't know. Anyway, point is like, he's like this big guy in business and he is like, yeah, like you think you're your own boss, but let me tell you, you're not the boss. Your customer is the boss, period.
It's a very good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gary, enlighten us.
I've been selling on eBay full time for like a few months now, but I think my main mess ups were, it's two that go together, pricing and shipping. I didn't understand either of them at all. So I was pricing Ralph Lauren shirts. I know they can sell around $22 give or take right now, but I was pricing them at 24 because I was like, oh, well, maybe someone will buy it for 24 and then best offer me or something. But I was also adding priority shipping. So priority shipping was costing them around $7, $6. And I didn't know first class shipping was a thing. Like I had no idea. So I was like, why are these Ralph Lauren shirts not selling? Like all these other people are selling these Ralph Lauren shirts. They take time, but it's been months. And then I finally looked and I was like, this shirt is probably like $34 to them. And they're not offering me. So I went through all hundreds of my listings, changed shipping, bought a scale from Walmart, and that helped a lot. And I think figuring out shipping, the flat rate boxes, all of that is actually like a big thing. And I didn't realize that. I was shipping everything priority. Shirts were going in boxes, shirts, everything was going in boxes. And I think figuring out shipping methods was a big thing, and pricing as well, and best offer and stuff like that. So
you learned a lot all at once.
Yeah, it was a big wake up call.
You got broken hard.
Yeah.
But now look at you.
Yeah, I got a lot of shoes in here on your list.
Another, I told Ken this one, but another mistake I made, I also love toys, and not just thrifted toys. I like to buy, used to like to buy toys and hold them for 7 to 10 years and then sell them for $300. And I'm like, wait a minute, that is not smart. And I really hope my husband isn't watching because he's gonna be like, I told you that was dumb. Anyway, it works, it does work, but I could take that money and like turn it over 30,000 times before the 7 years comes when the what was the Bucky pirate ship or whatever ends up selling for $60. But what Noelle and I still laugh at is when the movie Frozen came out, we did not listen to who keeps having sales. I'm jealous. And
Not me.
but we were standing in the aisle with Frozen toys, and there was like 6,000 Frozen toys. I'm like, oh, those look fun. We didn't buy any, not one. And literally, like overnight, they were selling for quadruple. So guess what? I learned from that mistake, and when Moana came out, I bought all the toys, which I still have. But in 7 years, I'm gonna sell them for $300 a piece.
There you go.
Ken, Hustlebee, she is freaking out about your shoes right now.
Oh, yeah. That's
just some of them.
That's 5% of my inventory.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I have 1,300 listings up.
Dang, that's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite sneaker right now? Or is it mostly sneakers?
Yeah, I started with collectible sneakers at first, and then I discovered that Ross and Burlington Coat Factory is a thing, and then I started buying there, and then all of this are from the Nike outlets, and just through experience, just trying to figure out when they go on sale, and then just looking at comps and stuff like that, and this is actually one of my mistakes. Let me share you guys. Just let me share this. Just because you have a lot more of quantity in a certain item, at least especially on shoes, doesn't mean you're gonna make a lot more sales. That's actually trying to infiltrate and kill your own market. So I learned that the hard way because, for example, all these red boxes are like the same shoe, and then it was like this high for the last 2 months, and I only sold like 6 of them. So that tells me that this certain shoe doesn't sell in volume as much as I want it to be. So that's one of the main things that I learned, that just because I can get a hold of a supply of this doesn't mean I can sell 10 size 9 in a month. Maybe only 5 people that's going to buy a size 9 in a month. So I learned that actually adding a lot more same same items as quantity really doesn't mean more sales. It's actually, it will be more sales in the future, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna help you a lot to sell more in a shorter span. So sell-through rate actually goes down when you have a lot more items in a certain quantity. But yeah.
What size is your favorite shoe to sell, Ken?
What size? Size 18. Yeah, I made the comment. All right, so this is one of the most mistakes people make, right? Just because it's size 9.5 to size 11, which is the most common for men's, doesn't mean they're gonna sell. Because size 9.5 to 11 are the most produced in numbers. That means there's a lot more supply. Chris knows this. He wears size 12, and those are actually produced less. So I come in a certain market that I actually buy a lot more size 8 and size 8.5 and size 12 and 13, because there's big footers too and small footers. So I actually try to
Small
cater.
foot. It's so hard to find shoes in my size. Like,
what size you wear?
I'm a 6 ladies.
Ooh,
Oh,
I'm an 11. We're like opposite.
We're opposites, yeah.
Oh, wow. So my wife.
I wear 6, but in my closet there's anywhere from 6 to 8.5, depending on.
Yeah, my wife wears 5.5.
Wow. Yeah. Does she wear sneakers?
Yeah, so she actually buys from Boys, 5Y on Boys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, as far as sneakers would concern, I collect a lot of like the Jordan retros and stuff like that. But that's what I love. Jordan 13s. I mean, like just kind of like vintage, like old style shoe. But yeah, that's why sneakers that I love.
I want to get on the sneaker game. I pick all the wrong ones until I met Ken.
Shay, you were in research for a long time, like costume research, right?
Yeah.
What are some what are some mistakes you made when you were researching? Because we all research all day long, right?
Yeah, we do.
Well, so I worked, let's see, I did costume research on films and TV. And I would say that and I was doing research for my boss. And I would say that to make sure that you come up with like a visual first for me, I should have asked her, can you give me a visual that you want to go off of so I can so I can go from there? Does that make sense? Like
knowing what you're doing before you do it.
Yeah. Instead of assuming that you have the idea that she wants, because she could have been, no, this is what I want. So it was like, if she would have shown me visually what she wanted, then I wouldn't have to then I wouldn't
We
have.
have the opposite problem. We already have
It would have saved you a lot of time.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to guess.
I know. I don't know if that helps, but
You're cool.
I think like jumping to assumptions of like what I think, you know, asking and being communicative is really key.
Even like jumping at like in assumptions of what you have already, you know,
Yeah.
like you think that's a 70s dress or whatever, but it might not be.
So true. Like research, but I think where we could put that with us, relate to us is research before you buy. Like, like you said, Nicole, you think that's a vintage 70s dress or whatever, but if you look at the label or something, you realize it's not what you think, and you could save yourself some money and some time. And some space, like Loretta's soup tureen. It's probably taking up space too. You just take it to Thanksgiving.
We already had Thanksgiving here.
Oh, that's
in
right.
Canada. But yeah, maybe I can gift it to someone for a Secret Santa.
Yeah, Secret Santa gift.
Wait, you have Thanksgiving already? What about Halloween?
Halloween?
Yeah.
People don't get presents for Halloween, I don't think.
Okay.
Put it on your front porch with some candy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I want to add something to that research thing. I get a lot of DMs saying, should I buy this? And then my response is research, because even I myself don't know it. I learned this from Loretta. This is one thing I remember from you when I was following you from the start. You actually posted a screenshot of all your eBay searches, and you were saying like research it, look at comps, and that stuck to me for forever. That in every shoe I actually look at comps, and the shoes that actually doesn't sell well and fast enough for me are the ones that I assumed that it was gonna be good, because it was based on my opinion. It wasn't based on the market. So even now, I even check comps every week on shoes that are actually not selling, because who knows, somebody that actually is a bigger seller bought 500 of these shoes and actually, lowered the price. So obviously, if I didn't know that there was a big surge of supply, I would just be saying like, my pricing is wrong. I would be basing my judgment based on feelings, right? I was like, oh, and actually could hurt my confidence in buying more items in the future. So with actually research, it's actually more a facts and data-based decision that I said, okay, somebody came in the market, is starting to sell a lot more of this in this kind of, and then I can make a decision. Should I lower my price or should I wait till they sell out? And so those are the things that I actually do. Every shoe I still research up to this point. So there should be no excuse for everybody that is just starting not to research and just start to ask people, because all I could do is say yes, and I could actually end your business. I could say yes to all the shoes you send me, and I could be cruel like that, but instead of telling you what to buy, I want you to learn the process of it, because everybody had to learn that. And if you want to be successful at this, if you're not diligent enough to do your research, you shouldn't be in the game.
And it changes all the time.
Yeah.
It changes all the time. And that is another mistake that I made, was I would search comps, I would search active listings, and then I would search solds, but I didn't search sell-through rate. Because I didn't think. One example was I found, my husband and I were both, he still is, but we were both airline people. So I was at a thrift store and I found a jacket from Pratt & Whitney, which I knew was an airplane engine maker. And it was embroidered and it looked kind of like it was special for a certain group of people, like maybe a group of employees or a company picnic people kind of got them. So I looked it up. There's 3 listed for a lot, like over $100 each. And I searched solds, and 2 had sold for $150. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire. I just found one of those secret things that's going to, I'm going to get a $150 sale. But I guess that's not a good example. It's a pretty good sell rate. But anyway, it sold for $150 in 2 years. So I quickly learned to figure out that, yeah, it's selling and it's selling for this price, but how many are active and how many are sold and how many sold each month or whatever. I think it goes back 90 days. But if it's only 2 a month, it's not going to sell quickly at all. So the sell-through rate was a big, huge lesson for me that made me, once I figured that out and learned that one, my store was like a different store. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell you at one point in my eBay reselling career that I learned that. I'm not going to tell you. It wasn't last time.
Well,
it's definitely, too long.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if this is working.
Oh, Jason, hey.
So who here listens to Reseller Life or Scavenger Life? That's what it's called. I know.
Oh, yeah.
A few of you do. But they have the philosophy, list it and forget it. They've had stuff for 6 years that sells, and that's kind of what I think. That's always my philosophy. So if you had it for 2 years and you've got it locked away in a closet or in storage somewhere, that's not that big of. I mean, I don't know what you paid for it, but I mean, depending on that's like
Oh, I only paid $3 for that jacket.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge. And I mean, like, think of that just if you were investing that money, like in the stock or something, how long it would take you to get to that. So, I mean, the sell-through rate is important, but like most of us spend so little on stuff, like especially
that's true. That's a good point.
That's a huge profit margin. I would definitely, if I had to spend $3 and wait 2 years on something, and again, I don't know the size, but to make $150, yeah, that's totally worth it to me.
I'm so good at buying and holding. I think that should be my store name, Buy and Hold.
Definitely, I 100% agree with you, Jason. I think that's one of the things that helped me a lot. I actually, I buy a lot of shoe. Well, everybody was selling it for $20 profit. I actually held it for 3 to 5 months, and there's actually one shoe that I sell that I actually net $110, and then I have 200 pairs of them, and then everybody's selling out so fast. In the first month that they came out, I actually held it out, and then now I'm the only one that has it in the market. So what I did is actually raise it higher.
Is that a soccer cleat you're talking about?
No, football cleats.
Football.
Yeah, the TDs. So even I tell you guys now what kind of shoe it was, you guys won't find it anymore. So, because everybody sold out so quick.
But I also told Ken, like my kid, we live in Maryland, and like literally just outside of DC, and my kid plays sports all year long, which all require cleats, and it's kind of off season his sports are kind of off season from he just finished baseball, and he has baseball in the spring, so like it contradicts with the regular baseball season. Same with he plays soccer, flag football, baseball, like everything that involves cleats. He needs cleats all year long. So even though someone might think it's not cleat season for a certain sport, it's still, I believe it still is somewhere. It always is here. We're always playing a sport that requires cleats.
Yep.
And lacrosse, there's indoor lacrosse and outdoor lacrosse. So lacrosse stuff sells all year too.
Yeah.
And I think the research thing is very important for stuff like Nike and stuff like, if it's a name brand, something but sometimes it's also just fun to take a chance on stuff. My 2 biggest sales have been through things. I'm sorry, Pooh keeps leaning on me. I figured Nicole I would have my own. But like my 2 biggest sales were things I could not find a comp for, because I found this whole set, this huge display of like hand painted ceramic, like Tabasco stuff. And I had no idea that Tabasco was a big thing at that point, and I definitely couldn't find these things. But that ended up being a huge win. And then
on Amazon or eBay?
eBay. Yeah, they sold out. They sold out in a few months. It was a massive sale. Unfortunately, I did not know how to ship glass and breakables at the time, so I'm an expert now. But and then a faux fur that I found, a full length men's, like think Macklemore, faux fur coat.
Nice.
The bins that I'm guessing like everybody else had just passed by, and I couldn't find a comp for it, and it sold in 12 hours. Cost me $5, and I made $150 on it.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
Chris, I think Chris bought it. Chris, did you buy it?
No.
I buy all that weird stuff. But I want to jump in on that scavenger life point.
Yeah.
They made a point in one of their podcasts that the suggested pricing sometimes doesn't matter. And I don't necessarily go off of that. Like I bought a Marantz record player that was in perfect condition, and none of them sold for over $300. I priced mine at $599 because it was perfect and there's nothing like it. And it's cool. And when you buy something cool, like you don't need to sell it fast. So like, you know, I just waited for an offer, and someone offered $550 a few months later, and they said, yes, yours is priced way more, but yours works. You made a video of it working on YouTube. I appreciate that. You know, ship it as carefully as possible. I'll pay the extra. So people, I mean, if it's rare and there's only one of it, you can make up your own pricing. But if, you know, if you're selling a camcorder and there's 300 other people selling it, then you can't price it too high. That's not going to work. But if it's just, there's only two in the market, you can do whatever you want. I also want to do one more point, which is I think the easiest way to make money is to buy broken stuff and fix it. Like if you're buying something that's worth $100 for 80 or 70 or 60 brand new, you're competing with all the other people that are doing that. And Ken has seen like there are cleats that are supposed to sell for 100 plus that people sell for 50 shipped. And you have to wait for the market to correct itself to sell it. I bought some cleats that are awesome that are like 175 retail or something. And I'm just going to wait. And I have to wait a few more months for those to go away. But things that are broken, if you can actually add value, people give that stuff away. Like if you go to a garage sale and they don't know if it works, they can't charge you anything for it. You're going to be buying an iPod for $1 to $5 instead of 20 because they don't know if it works or not. So I think that's one place where you can adjust it. There's also, there's a lady that I know that sells high-end jewelry that's broken. So like it's like $200-300, but she buys it for $10 to $20 and it takes $50-60 to fix it. But she's adding the value in, and I think that's a huge way to do it. A lot of people do that with shoes. Like if you take a ratty pair of shoes and you properly clean it and shine it, you can add like $50 value to it, especially on expensive shoes. Some people will resole an entire pair of like Allen Edmonds, like $500 shoes. They'll spend $80 fixing it, reshining it, and then, but that pair of shoes is $3 at Goodwill. But a nice one, especially in California, they'll charge $75. So it's not like $3 versus $75, and you could do the work in there for cheaper. But trying to sell only perfect list-ready items is hard because they can ask a lot. Goodwill's.
I want to make like one point, and then I have to jump out of the chat, guys. My kids are here at the office too. But so Shane made a great point, and she was like, so she doesn't sell on eBay, right? Like she's just working with me, doing great stuff. And she was like, well, how do you guys like research stuff, right? Like, what is this research coming from? And I was like, you know, like we look at solds, we look at like comps are solds, what's sold on eBay. And she's like, well, like she's like, what were you saying? Like I use Instagram, and I've always just like always looked on Instagram for trends. Like, are you guys following trends? Like, is that how you know what to buy? And I feel like a lot of sellers don't do that. Like they are literally just going in a thrift store, they're looking at what's sold on eBay. But like, if you can be ahead of the trend, like if you know those striped guest shirts were worth, you know, are coming up and they're going to be worth $100, you could have been buying them when people were selling them for 25 and 30 and holding them for a couple months, right?
Exactly. Like I'm wondering, like anyone who's selling like clothes, and are you guys looking at like fashion week stuff? Or you, because I mean, I don't sell, but I'm always looking at that stuff.
Do you look on Instagram like from other personal people, or actually, like you said, Fashion Week or Vogue or whatever? Like,
no, I follow like Vogue editors, and I follow like stylists that I really like, and different. I don't know.
You just pull up your phone and like all her Instagram is like full of just like stylists and like other people that
or photographers.
That's a great idea. I watched the Today Show a lot, especially their What's on Trend, which is what made me buy all those Moana toys. But I like that. I have not done that on Instagram.
I think for guys, it's a big thing with like sports stars or rappers. Like this dude, he started wearing Tommy, and all my friends wear Tommy now. He started wearing Fila. All the rappers started wearing Fila, throwback Reebok. And if you see someone with that on, it's gonna pop. Kanye wears a pair of slip-on white Vans tomorrow. They're gonna sell out on Vans.
Oh my, watch what the celebrities are wearing. That's a great advice.
And the thing is, like, those celebrities are dressed by people for the most part, right?
Exactly.
Like, so like you can actually like hack it and go one step further, which is what she's saying, and follow the stylist, then you're really gonna win.
Mind blown.
A lot of them, like Kanye, he doesn't have stylists really, and some of them like kind of copy each other's styles. So it's kind of hard to do that with like some of those guys. Or Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's really crazy, and I'm in Oklahoma right now, Oklahoma City, and we all dress how Russell Westbrook dresses. Like
whack.
Oh my God. And you're wearing that Timberwolves sweater, and I don't like that because we lost 2 days ago. I was so upset.
Well, I think with that, I just want to say thanks for having us on, you guys.
Thank you so much. It was nice to meet you, Shay.
Bye.
Let's go to Tiffany. She has
Yes.
Yeah. Let me unmute her.
Hi.
Hey.
I didn't realize it was an actual live chat, so I'm like a bum in bed. Sorry.
Hey, we can do that as a reseller.
Dress code is pajamas or higher.
Totally wearing pajamas right now, eBaying from bed. But I just started reselling. My mom's been on eBay for, gosh, like 12 years.
Wow.
So my little sister's in San Diego, and I'm just outside of Tampa, Florida. So I just started 2 weeks ago, and I just made my first $100. So really just started.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Welcome.
That's super cool. So I'm kind of here just trying to educate myself.
Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, I am.
You want to share your Instagram handle so people can follow you?
You can. It's Tiffy 2 Shoes. It's what my dad used to call me. So Tiffy
number
2 or and then shoes.
Okay.
And that's my stuff so far is just mostly me and my kids and stuff. So nothing too interesting.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We could all share our Instagram handles. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to share a mistake or anything before we go?
My mistake?
Yeah.
I haven't made any yet. I don't think. I hope. I don't know. I'm like totally trying to learn off of you guys. Right now I've listed like Victoria's Secret bras. My son was in gymnastics. That's super hot item.
Yeah.
Super hot.
Especially for boys.
Boys, like Steffens, unbelievable. They're like, they fly, if you can find them, they fly off the shelf like hotcakes, like unbelievable. That's where I've made my $100. Stuff I had at home.
Well, that's a great way to start too. Just stuff you have from home. And I'll share our Instagrams handles so you can follow us, and anybody in the chat can follow us. And then we'll probably say goodbye after that. But Tiffy is Tiffy 2 Shoes, the number 2. Tiffy number 2 Shoes on Instagram. We are all members of the Reseller Fam on Instagram. Just a big old family of resellers. I am one half of the Lister Sisters with Noelle. She and I we live in different states, but like to pretend like we work together, and we call ourselves the Lister Sisters. And Chris, go first.
I'm 10K on the Bay on Instagram, and
nobody knows who you are.
Thanks for coming, and I'm really, really excited, guys. There's so many cool people in this community. Everyone is working together, and I feel like it's one of the only industries where people that are directly your competition will help you. So, I mean,
that's true.
Beyond telling you where they buy it and how much they pay for it and what they're going to sell it at, ideas. And I think that, I follow Loretta a lot, and I think it's important to follow people that sell different things than you. It's fun to follow people who sell the identical thing to you, but there's, you want to reach out, and I've been sourcing in person too. I like to source with people who buy different things. So reach out on Instagram, meet people, try to actually meet people in real life. It's totally different.
It's fun too. Loretta, where can we find you on Instagram?
So my Instagram handle is Thrift Love Sell, and that's me. And I sell mostly hard goods.
I love it. You've taught me so much on hard goods to the point where like I haven't gone to the clothes section the last 3 times I've gone thrifting.
I've kind of gotten more into clothing because I started with hard goods and now I've been expanding into clothing, which is awesome because like tomorrow I've got these shipments and then I know I have these clothes which are so easy to ship. So I'm like, because but it's really so I'm learning new stuff now and I'm learning all about clothing. But back to the trends, can I just say something?
Yeah.
So if you're interested in selling like vintage decor and stuff like that, follow the top interior design Instagram and magazines, because you can go, and that's what I do. And I know a lot of trends that are coming up. So I'm stocking up right now. I'm not even like, I'm just hoarding this stuff because I know it's coming. So I like I'll show you, I bought this yesterday. This is so ugly. And believe me, I would never think to buy this, but it's like a vase, which has a coyote on it, which is like Southwestern. This is coming on trend. This vase I paid $3 for. I can sell for $50 right now. It's so ugly in 90s, but then 90s, like I think the pink and the pastels will be coming back. But yeah, so just get the design magazines, follow interior designers on Instagram and upcoming people.
Are you comfortable with sharing one interior designer that you like to follow? Or
well, I personally love the big ones. So like the interior design magazines or House Beautiful, all the big magazines of Vogue Home, Elle Decor, all those ones. Because you can
about House, HOUZZ.
I don't. There, you know what? Anyone can post on House. Like anyone, because if you finish a design project, you can just post on there. So like if you look at bathroom, it could be someone's bathroom and they have no taste. Like anyone can post on there. But with the design magazines, the top ones, they're posting the top designers and the trends. So that's what I follow. And you can open a page of like, say, a dining room spread. And you'd be like, that's vintage. I can find that at the thrift store. I can buy that and I can flip that. And you'll see all these things. You pick up 20 items that you could just go to the thrift store tomorrow and go and grab that and make some money.
You make me want to go to the thrift store tomorrow. Gary, where can we find you on Instagram?
Gary's Too Fast For You. It's the numbers are actual numbers. So Gary's the number 2 fast, number 4 you. I used to run track and cross country. So
awesome. That's awesome.
I don't really post like finds and stuff, but if anyone that's beginning needs help, you can go ahead and message me. And if I don't know the answer, I'll just tell you I don't know the answer. But I help some people around me in the area. And so if you need help, you can message me. But I don't really post how Chris does, like finds and picture setups and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah,
dogs. We like dogs. We like.
Yeah, but that's pretty much where you can find me.
What you could do is start posting what rap stars are wearing.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing.
Ken, where can we find you?
You can find me at the Nike outlet. So yeah, I've actually been to 5 Nike outlets in the last 48 hours.
Wow.
There's within 5 minutes from my house. I really need to go learn how to do Nike.
Don't even bother going to the Nike outlet.
If Nike was that close to me, I would work there part-time just to get the discounts. My closest Nike outlet is like 45 minutes away, so it's kind of far. But you can find me on Instagram at the Hustle Bee. And then make sure you guys follow Hustled for everybody that wants to go to the reseller live event. And then it's kind of like heavy in your pockets. Me and Glenn, the Hustler Hacks, are trying to make $50 to $1,000 to help people, to show people that they can actually do it and go to the live event. We want to meet you there and we want to see you there.
Starting with just $50. You guys really need to go follow them at Out Hustled on Instagram, because people that want to go to our Reseller Fam event in March and feel like they can't afford it, just follow at Out Hustled. All you have to start is $50, and they're going to show you how you can get there with just a $50 investment. And this includes not only just the ticket, but the hotel room and the flight. Dave, where can we find you and Megan?
You can find us on Instagram at the Destroy Family Thrifts. And ours is all things eBay, pictures of us because we're cute, and pictures of our little man because he's cuter.
You are. He's really cute. Jason.
Inflated hero. I'm a balloon.
Oh my God, you're inflated hero?
Inflated.
I love you. You make the balloons.
I am a balloon artist by trade, and my design style is geek, not so chic. So if you're looking for a design,
it's amazing. Your balloons are incredible. It's like better than art.
Yeah. So that's my design style. Having Doctor Who on the wall.
Sorry, I love everybody. I just didn't know that's who you were.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
me.
Noelle, where can we find you? Since it won't be at the Nike outlet because Ken went to yours.
I know. God.
Yeah, I was there.
I missed you. My stupid cat. He's not stupid, but he keeps jumping up. And I just talk about cat ladies like you might get your stuff from a cat lady's house. I will wash this shirt before I put it on eBay.
And she'll smell it.
And she'll smell
I'll smell it. I'll smell it to make sure. I'm the other half of the Lister Sisters on Instagram. I do have Are You Thrifting Me as well on Instagram that I always forget to mention that I do with my husband, Matt. But he runs that and we're not as active on that right now because he is working a contract job for more money. So, yeah, that's where I am.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining. And remember, if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're going to end up living in a van down by the river.
That's so bad.
I love that movie.
I do too. Ciao.